For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser here with Jency Riley Jr., standout from St. Helena, who we're going to talk a little bit about it. He spent most of his life playing basketball and then realized that he might have a future in football, and so he's really worked hard the last year or so to improve on that sport and just continue to progress his game. Jency, what's going on, man? We've been talking about this for a while. It's good to see you. How's everything been going?
Yes, first of all, I just want to thank you for having me on. I like to, get a chance to talk with you so we could, like you said, talk about some of the things you mentioned about and all that kind of stuff. But everything's been going good so far. Unfortunately, our game Friday is canceled, so we won't be able to do that one. I don't know about our next game. I don't know how that's gonna work. So I'm just hoping that we'll be able to play at least one of them so we can have something and boost ourselves up in the two-way rankings going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk some about that. And, I mean, we might come back to it some more, but just what has this year been like for you guys as you try to navigate through the really weird offseason where a lot was uncertain, and then you get back out there and it seems like any given week there's still uncertainty of, is the game actually going to be able to take place? And as you mentioned, now you guys lose an opportunity to play a really big one for y'all's area of the state against Kentwood. What has that been like to just try and keep focus, keep your mind in the right spot and keep moving forward?
This year I must say has been pretty crazy. From my recruiting picking up over the summer to us getting a new head coach in the middle of the season, to me thinking about actually transferring out to like IMG or Trinity and playing my senior season out there. And then with the COVID deal, this been a pretty crazy year. Over the summer, we got our head coach Brandon Mitchell, and he came in. I want to say around end of June, early July, and he came in and he just basically told us that us seniors would define how this season goes. From obviously getting a new head coach and learning his new system of coaching and the new staff that he's bringing in and all that kind of stuff. From working out over the summer, it was pretty crazy because we were working out, hoping that we'd have a season, becoming doubtful that we even have a season as it got closer to like the season date and we wouldn't get any news. And then come to find out that we are having a season, but they're taking away our first two games. It's been pretty crazy. And so far, like I said, up until now, we've been doing pretty good with the COVID thing. We played all our games. Yeah, we played all our games up until now. And it's just been a roller coaster year, man. I must say 2020 it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty ready to get through 2020 with the way a lot of it's been going. But how did we get to this point in terms of we're now talking about you on the football field, you having 8 to 10 scholarship offers from some Division I schools? You're a guy that, you hadn't played much football since you were like middle school, elementary school type age.
12.
And then you take this gap and you're focused on basketball. How did you end up back on the football side last year and starting to get back into it?
It's a pretty crazy story. When I tell the story, I laugh. So our starting quarterback, who happens to be my best friend, I'm a diehard Steelers fan, and he's a Saints fan, obviously. So that year when the Saints and the Steelers played, we made a bet. And if the Steelers won, he had to come play basketball. But if the Saints won, I had to come play football. And obviously the Saints won. And that's how I ended up getting out there. I didn't go out there this summer. I came out like after our jamboree. After our jamboree, then I came off our first official game. That was my first week out. And like I said, just learning everything. Because when I was playing football, I was a quarterback. So it's like, and then when they threw me out there wide out, and they were just run and catch the ball. That's all they told me. They were like, catch the ball, but nothing else but catching the ball. And that's honestly how we got here now. Like I said, my receivers coach at the time and our OC and like I said, my head coach at the time, they really worked with me like after practice, before practice, just getting my footwork in. learning routes, and just the whole football terminology again. Because, like I said, high school football and big league football are two different things. It's just the terminology and the words that I had to learn. It was a lot.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you, is how challenging was that last year, learning on the fly and trying to get to a point where you were going to be a playmaker for your school after having not played for that many years? And what was that like? What was the, I guess, the learning curve like throughout last year to kind of set yourself up for building on it this offseason with the things that you've worked on and everything like that?
It was it was pretty crazy. Thankfully, we didn't have our seniors were selfish. Like when I came out there, they were really welcoming and helping me out, and actually, helping me learn this and learn that. And I think it was after we played A-Mid, when one of our senior receivers he got hurt, and I was his backup. So when he got hurt, that's when it just threw me in, and I said, I still was a little rusty, didn't know everything, but they threw me in, and I started, and I just played that whole year. Like I said, I just feel like with the help of my then coaches and those seniors, they really helped me out a lot. Like I said, they were really welcoming and just took me on the wing and just taught me everything that I need to know about football and about my position.
What made you decide? I mean, you got into varsity football off of an NFL bet. What made you decide that you wanted to stick with it and that you really wanted to kind of continue to pursue and build on your game and see where it could take you?
I must say, after my first game, it was just because after my first game, I hopped in, I had caught like 2 touchdowns. And it was pretty crazy, like that feeling of just crossing the goal line and hearing the band playing, and it was just a crazy feeling. And after that game, I started talking to a couple of schools, and I was like, wow, this is happening. And when, like I said, hearing from those schools, and like I said, just being out there with the guys and working every day, I guess I developed like a love for it and just for the sport. And it just took me to where we are now, just getting ready to make a decision in a couple months about where I'm going to go and go there for the next couple of years and just pursue the ultimate goal of being in the NFL.
Who was either the first school or who were the first couple schools that you heard from the college level, and how special and exciting and probably a little bit crazy and surprising how quickly it came was that moment for you and your friends and family to realize that, this thing that you had hopped in, just kind of joining your best friend was now, I mean, some things were really kind of falling into place.
It was crazy. The first school to officially offer me was New Mexico State. Coach Chili Davis. We had, I don't even think we weren't really texting that much. He just texted me one night, and I was asleep. And I woke up the next morning, and I had some phone calls, and I was looking. I never saw the number before, so I decided to call back. And he told me who he was, and we talked for about a good hour. And he was just telling me, he was talking to me and my mom, actually. And he was just telling her about how he felt like a girl as a player and as a young man about, potentially being there. And I'll never forget when he said it, we would like to offer you a full ride to Mexico State. And I sat there with the phone in my hand to my ear, and I was just like, what did he just say? And he said it again. And I was like, I could post it on Twitter. That was the first thing I was like, is it one of those? He was like, man, post it. Let everybody know that, this achievement that you've got, and let's just build a relationship. And that was crazy. And then right after that, about 15 minutes after that, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, they called me, then they offered me. And I was just like, man, it was crazy. And then after that, I just went, like, a lot of schools started coming, following me on Twitter, texting me, talking to me, conversing with me, and my mom and my coaches and all that kind of thing.
What was this offseason like to continue to build your game out? And we talk about you packed on a lot of muscle, really hit the weight room and got to a point where you're now up there pushing about 6'5", about 220, 225 or so. What was kind of the game plan for you this offseason, and how did you feel that work went, and what are some of the benefits you've seen from it?
The game plan this was obviously to get bigger. I honestly thought that a lot of schools were going to recruit me at wide out. But as I started talking to schools more, they were like, we like you more as a tight end. And would I be able to, would I consider getting up there, trying to put on like 20 to 30 more pounds of weight and be a true, like not true tight end, but, you know, one of those guys who could get down there and get dirty with the big guys, but then also step out and get a little crafty with those guys. This offseason, I must say, working on my, like, just getting bigger. Obviously, I think, like, at the beginning, I was, like, 6'5", 210, and just getting in the weight room every day, running and lifting and eating and repeating. I think this helped me out a lot. And I must say, from all the work that I put in over the season, I must say that I just feel more dominant on the field, like just finishing blocks and blocking D-ends and D-linemen, or just going out and high point the ball over a corner's head. It's just all that. I just feel like it helped me out a lot. And I just feel like that it's really showing that I've been working over the season, over this past offseason.
And that's something we talked about, I guess, kind of late summer, was just the physical part of the game. Have you felt a lot of the benefits primarily just from continuing to get stronger, or have there been certain things that you've done in terms of kind of learning to block better technique-wise and stuff like that has been kind of a big focus for you as well?
Kind of both. Like I said, my new head coach, Coach Mitch, when he first met me, he told me that I reminded him of one of his old teammates. He was a tight end, and he actually won the Mackey Award. He was just a big guy. He was just pretty smooth out his breaks with his route running, and he was just physical in the run game. And he actually told me that blocking isn't about being stronger than the other guy. It's about just proper head placement and technique. And like I said, this offseason, with me getting stronger and then learning the proper technique to block, I just feel like it all just came together, and I just now on the field just blocking, like I said, a DN or any kind of lineman or linebacker. It just feels more natural. Now learning what I know technique-wise and also getting bigger and more physical over the summer.
You mentioned obviously the Saints and Steelers game, and so you certainly pay some attention to NFL, and you watch some of these guys in college. When you see big 6'5", 6'6", athletic tight ends, and honestly a lot of them have basketball backgrounds, the guys that we're kind of talking about, what is that like for you to see that play out at a college level or at an NFL level, and see some of these guys have the success? Is that sort of a versatile weapon that they're talking about, you potentially following that same sort of a path?
It's pretty big. Like you said, I clearly do keep in touch. Keep in tune with college and NFL. And like I said, just watching those guys, one of my favorites, Kyle Pitts from Florida, just watching the way he gets down and he blocks. He blocks like a tight end, but then he obviously steps out and he gets one-on-one with a linebacker or defensive back, and he just kills and kills and kills. And it's big to me knowing that I have some of those similar skills only in my 2 years of playing, and it just kind of helps me become more confident with me going to college and being able to do this football thing and ride all the way out to the fullest.
For a young tight end, Pitts is as good of a kind of guy to try and follow that lead as anybody right now.
Yes, sir. He, like I said, he's just one of a kind, man. Just watching him, it don't even have to be one-on-one. I remember one play, I can't think of the game. Kyle Trash threw him a pass, and it was like two DBs, and he just jumped over them both and just snatched it out the hands of the DB or the back, and I was just like, man, this is crazy, because it was just crazy seeing it. Like, he's dominating, and he's in the talk for the Belinda-Koff Award, even though he's a real, true tight end. And I'm like, man, that's just something that I want to be when I get to the next level, and hopefully do the same thing and just succeed what he's doing.
Yeah, there's certain aspects of football now that we've talked about for years, basketball becoming more positionless, I guess. And you look at teams like the Warriors that can go out there and everybody run around, everybody handle the ball. And there's certain aspects of football that are kind of going that same sort of direction, where you're talking about guys that are an offensive weapon or a defensive weapon and can do a lot of different things. And it's kind of cool to see the way that's developing.
Yeah.
For you, as you talk to some of these schools, and you mentioned New Mexico State and Pine Bluff, you have some offers from Prairie View, Grambling State, Lamar, Texas State, Southeastern, and New Mexico. And I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anyone, but if so, certainly mention them. But as you talk to them now with a couple of different offers, what are the things that you're trying to learn about their programs and their schools and their coaching staffs as you try and kind of wrap your mind around what each option might entail?
I honestly, I ask every school about how do they feel about their head coach, because obviously the head coach is the head guy in charge, and he kind of dictates and controls the program as a whole. And I just honestly tell all schools I'm looking for somewhere I can come and not necessarily start, but just have a chance to start and compete for the starting position and just be there for the next 3 to 4 years and just ball out and hopefully make it to the league. I just really want to go somewhere where, like I said, it's just a fun atmosphere where I can play ball, meet friends and brothers for a lifetime while also getting my degree and going to school constantly and just being able to really live the student athlete life at whatever school I just have to go to.
And I mean, you got back into football based on relationships and just kind of being around y'all's program in years past and kind of knowing a little bit about the area. There's some really great tight-knit relationships there. And you mentioned a thought at one point this offseason about, should you go to an IMG or someplace because of how things were going with COVID, to have to make that decision and not know what this season might hold in Louisiana, and now to get to a point where, okay, things happened, you guys were able to get back out there, play together, and you guys could have this senior year together and have some things fall in place college-wise. What has the last month and a half, 2 months been like to see some of it work out and have the experience that you've had, even though it has been a little bit of a different year?
I've truly just been grateful. Like I said, there's been a lot of schools in the area that are not playing at all this year, or they have suffered like more than one setbacks where they couldn't play, or they couldn't play this game, they couldn't play that game. And like I said, I just been grateful to go out there and play this last season with my guys. Like I said, over the summer, I was just thinking about going out of state. Like I said, just playing somewhere else. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it just came down to me wanting to be out here with my guys for my last year. I know a lot of people might say, "Oh, you should have went to IMG, or you should have went to play with Shadur, or you should have went here, yeah." But I'm just like, yeah, but I got all that here. Even though it's not as big and as glamorous as all other schools, I got the same thing here, same close, tight relationship with everybody in the community, the whole team. And like I said, the new coaches, they came in, they just fit in with us so perfect. So it's like, I'm really happy I decided to stay here and finish my last season out here.
And we're now winding down that regular season and about to turn the page to the playoffs in another week and a half. For this last run, football-wise at least, with you guys, what should folks watch for you in the playoffs as a team, and just some of the goals that you guys have in place as we get into postseason play?
We want to put rings on our fingers. Like I said, I feel like with the team that we have now, I feel like we can. Like I said, we really, out of all our games, all of our losses, I must say, it's really like some that we ended up losing 21-18. It was just a last minute thing. Then we lost the big one against A-Mid, and there was just like another last second thing that kind of happened for them. And I just feel like when we get there, and like I said, with the new staff, it's been a lot of wrinkles and things. But like I said, going through this regular season, I feel like it's going to help us out a lot. And I feel like when we get to the playoffs, everything's going to click. And we're going to finally be that one unit that we need to be offensively and defensively and even special teams. And I feel like we'll be able to make some things happen. A lot of people don't expect us to do it because obviously we're in the middle of nowhere. Nobody expects us to do it. But I just feel like this season, with the team, with the things that we have going on and how everything is looking like it's going to shape up, I feel like we have a really legitimate chance to put some jewelry on our fingers.
And I think some fans and any college fans and college coaches that have a chance to stumble upon this kind of got a little bit of sense of of your background and your personality and stuff, but if there's anything more that you want to share about who you are and what someone should know about you if they're interested in being a fan of yours, or if they're interested in recruiting you to come play some college ball, what would you hope that kind of gets across about who is Jency Riley Jr.?
I wouldn't say an average 17-year-old, but I'm pretty average. I'm just a normal kid. I like to play ball, obviously, and just be around people that I feel that's going to help me get to the next level. Like just being around my teammates and just having those little special moments that nobody knows about, and just building that kind of friendship and relationship that, like I said, hopefully lasts a lifetime. And just being with those guys and obviously connecting with coaches and even people in our community. I feel like a lot of schools know that I'm pretty, I can't think of the word I want to use. I'm pretty caring. I'm open. I'm open to talk to anybody about anything. If you need me to do something or, vice versa, I'm pretty open. I like to help people out and just get into it with people. Just, you never know how one conversation or one favor could just change, not just the kids' life, but anyone's life. And I feel like a lot of schools should just know that about me if they're looking for me to come play at their school, or anybody who's looking to support me should just know that about me.
No doubt, man.
Yes,
Sounds good to me. I think you got some of that across for sure. And as you mentioned, average in the sense of, being a chill guy, likes to spend time with your friends, play some ball. Above average in the fact that you're 6'5", 225, and can go moss people. And when it comes time to block, put them in the dirt too. So good deal, man. Well, I'm glad we got a chance to link it up and do this video like we've been talking about for a little while.
Yeah, I'm happy too. I'm happy to finally get down and be able to talk with you and see you, so we can kind of touch bases and put a face to the voice, to the name. I'm happy we get to do that. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to having this conversation extra many times we do have it down the road.
No doubt, man. Big things ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm just looking forward. I'm just looking forward to just finishing this season now, because I really think we're going to have a chance to just shock a lot of people. And a lot of people are just going to be like, wow, where did they come from? And then it'd be like, well, you're surprised, you're shocked, but the whole time we knew what we've been doing. Like I said, from the offseason up until now, we knew what was going on. We knew that we had a legitimate shot at doing this.
There you go. Jency Riley Jr. finishing up his regular season as a senior on the St. Helena football team, and those guys getting ready for a playoff run that they've been working for with, you mentioned, new coach Brandon Mitchell, just trying to set the pieces in place and do some big things this postseason, and then also having a chance to hear from some of these colleges about an opportunity to play at the next level. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser, thanks again, man.
All right, thank you.